Hi there, Mark Jabin here, Medical Director for the Haywood County Health Department, and let's talk about this pandemic. You can see that the background is a bit different, and so am I. I've not relegated myself to a hermetically sealed closet. I am in Jacksonville, Florida. Now, you may think that I am someone who courts risky recreational opportunities, but actually it was necessary to check in on my 90-plus-year-old parents. Whenever I get concerned about what tomorrow will bring, I call my friend in New Zealand. And if you know anything about the international date line, then you know New Zealand is the first place in the world to see the sun rise each day. And my friend is able to reassure me that the sun did in fact come up tomorrow. Being here now feels a little bit like the same. So let me explain. In late May, early June in Haywood County, we were seeing a spike in cases. It was possible a month later we could have been at 50 cases or 2,000. Our positive test rate at that time was around 5%. So over the next 2 weeks, our cases and positive rate actually did not keep going up. Instead, it went down from 5% to 1.6%. And a month later, we were at 87 cases, not 2,000. And thank goodness for that, and thank goodness to each of you who doubled down on following the public health measures, who got sick and immediately stopped going out and about, or close contacts who honored their quarantine, and businesses doing their part. Thanks to you all, it made a big difference. But back to late May, early June, in Jacksonville, at that time, their positive test rate was 1.6%. Over those same next 2 weeks in Florida, officials proclaimed it was time to reopen. People took advantage of the option to go out and about, too many taking this as a sign that the public health measures were also optional. Now, another week later, and their positive rate has gone from 1.6% in early June to now 14% at the end of the month. New cases in this county increased over their overall total by 20% last Friday alone. Now, even if people choose to institute corrective measures today, it will still take 2 to 3 weeks to see the impact. And all the while, cases will grow exponentially, just like in Texas and California and so many rural areas around the country now, and just like New York did back in April. Now, 3 weeks later in Haywood County, our test positivity rate has gone from 1.6 and inched up a little bit to 3%. New cases this past week increased our overall total by 20%, 10 to 30% across western North Carolina. Is Jacksonville showing us our tomorrow? By the way, a 14% positive rate in Haywood County would mean 100 additional cases over the next 2 weeks alone, from 80s to 180s. And you can do the math for the other counties. And it won't end there, especially if the younger folks, among whom infections are spreading, give it to those who are most vulnerable. And consider this. For you soccer fans, the Premier League in the UK just completed its season, playing all the remaining games in front of empty stadiums. Players, coaches, and staffs isolated for the good of completing the season. Everyone tested every week. Only one player tested positive. Contrast this with the NFL here. The season has not even started, and 10 teams have had players and coaches test positive. The league had to step in about players practicing together on their own, that behavior putting the entire season at risk. Free to choose actions for everyone's benefit, or free to jeopardize not just their own livelihood, but everyone else's too? And is it any different for each of us? Here in Jacksonville, I feel like my friend in New Zealand, answering that call about what happened tomorrow. Now, you can act now, and we could be like the Premier League, or you can act like NFL players. You can act now when we have 80 cases, or you can take the same actions later when we have hundreds. That choice is yours. We don't have to agree on everything to agree on some things, to acknowledge the evidence that's right in front of our face, what has taken place over the last 4 months, and what we've learned works. It's your choice about what you want to do. But please don't forget to include those around you. So thanks for following the 3 W's, showing an IQ if you get sick or exposed, practicing the golden rule of gathering, and to businesses doing their part. Be well and be careful, especially right now.